there? Sir? Sir?
Yeah, Gayatri, will start in 5 minutes, Gayatri.
Okay, okay, sir.
I'm available. I'm just waiting for people. I've seen that you've joined. We'll start. We'll start in 2 minutes. Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Gayatri and Shweta. Good morning. Sorry for disturbing your Sunday morning. Can understand 9:30 on Sunday is lazy for all of us. So Shweta, you're giving prelims.
Yes, sir, I'm giving this time.
Okay. So how is the preparation?
I've just completed one subject,
Okay.
geography.
So pick up. By the way, we are doing a workshop. If you're interested, you can join. It will be mostly before this month end. So we have not yet announced the dates. Once we get enough enrollments, around 10 to 15 people, we'll be doing it. Okay. You can contact Gopi. You know Gopi, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you feel it would be helpful, you can join. We have just put a very bare minimum price for it. Okay, only to, it's a 5 hour workshop. I asked Mithun. Mithun is my friend. He is also from Feynman. He is presently in IRTS. So he'll be speaking for half an hour there. Later, then last half an hour we can have a doubt session, and 4 hours we'll discuss on certain strategies and what worked out for senior players like us, so that you can always analyze that approach, and if it is really helpful, you can implement. As I told number of times, you must have seen my previous class also. The prelims is like all that magical number you have to get. That's all. Whatever is the cutoff, you have to be point 0.33 marks more than that. Right, Gayatri? Gayatri knows the importance of that cutoff. She missed by whisker in two attempts, right?
No, sir. First was 10. This one is like 2 marks, I think.
So 2 marks is three questions. Three questions, unattempted three questions or wrong of two questions. So we'll discuss there. Okay, if interested, you can join. So this will be our last class with regard to the archaeology. We have discussed.
The race thing, sir told you'll be taking one on the race and
Yeah, in this class only I'll finish it off.
okay.
It's small topic. It's just 5 marker, 10 marker question. I am not having any slides for it as such. We'll discuss it right from the textbook. Okay. So we'll do it. We'll do it. It will take only 15-20 minutes. Okay. What is the textbook you are following for paper two? Do you have any textbook?
So far it's sir's material only.
Okay.
Then most of it is, I think, earlier before answer writing, I thought I had to learn so much, but once I started writing, it is like I felt like it is very little you have to
Yeah,
read.
yeah. Some topics are like that, where there is, especially if you have questions on thought, there is hardly any content there. So it's all about having more case studies, more examples.
Thought as in Indian anthro thoughts, eh?
No, thought. I mean to say in paper one.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
paper one thought. Since you are reading search textbook, you feel there is a lot of material, but going to market, there is no material at all.
Even in paper two also,
You
it's
see,
like
the other subjects, there is hardly. They give a 20-page small booklet. Okay, so that's why I'm saying to master paper one, better to revise search anthro thought multiple times. Thought will be useful for you to answer questions in religion, marriage, family. You can bring it anywhere, right? So even you can, as a matter of fact, I was telling you that you can use thought in your archaeology also, because archaeology is more about material remains, how material changed man. It is a perception of neo-evolutionists, right? Like VG Child. VG Child is the one who has proposed Neolithic revolution. So you can bring in such concepts every now and then in paper one. So in paper two, you're saying Indian anthropologist, Gayatri.
so suddenly you're talking about paper two, and then again you told thought. I thought it is
So
about Indian
so
anthro.
in a way, I am sync with my approach that there is no paper on paper two. Okay, you should club both of them. See, paper two
Huh.
is, but application, right? It is more of from unit 6 to from unit 6 it's all about tribes, and uh, most of the questions are standard. If you see year on year, you do the kaka report and do search material, you're done. Your complete preparation is over there. And 1 to 6 also is standard. It is about judge system, it is about Indian philosophy, that varna ashrama and karma. All these are very standard concepts. That's why people keep scoring quite well in paper 2. Okay, paper 1 is a very lengthy paper because you have to cover socio thought as well as physical anthropology, right? Fine. So today
This time, sir discussed the Indian anthropologists and in line with the schools of anthro-thought. I don't know if earlier sir discussed, but he has discussed the school of thought which influenced in Indian anthropologists.
yeah, that was there earlier also, but the obviously even the faculty will adjust with regard to the changing question paper demand. So if you see, there were two straightforward questions of 10 markers on Indian anthropologists in paper 2. Okay, one was K.S. Singh and Robert Brute Forte. So Robert Brute Forte we have anyhow covered. So whenever you get Robert Brute Forte, write about Paleolithic age. Okay. Uh, so today in today's class we are doing megalithic culture and Harappan culture or Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization is done very extensively, and I am extremely confident that this level of Indus Valley civilization will not be done in any institute or any class. Okay, you read this particular. I don't know if you are revising all the slides or not, but revise this particular slide at least 3 or 4 times before your prelims. Speza for you. Okay, Gayatri, I hope you are also giving the prelims. Change your mind. So, if you are giving prelims, read this particular slides. There are 50 slides, big one. At least 3 or 4 times. There will be a question on Indus Valley civilization in prelims, some or the other way. If you see last 3 4 years, they're asking. So even if they don't ask, they'll ask 100% in GS1. If you miss there, it will come in Anthro paper 2. So there is no reason to avoid, and we have done this in a very extensive way. We will do this in a very extensive way. Do with clear cut side headings, and you will answer 10 marker, 15 marker, or 20 marker very easily. Okay. So megalithic cultures. So megalith also is very important topic as far as anthropology is concerned. We have seen repetitive questions over last 3 or 4 years regarding megalithic burials, be it in 10 marker or 20 marker question. So mega means large, lithic means stone. So megalithic cultures are large stone cultures. So megalithic culture is associated with stone culture where the stones are used for funerary purposes, commemorative purposes, or ritual purposes. Right? So these particular stones or the grave-like monuments were used either for funerary, for commemorative purposes, or for ritual purposes. Okay, this was initially defined by R.M. Wheeler. Okay, right from right from Neolithic, right from Mesolithic age, we are seeing that it is the Holocene era, right? From 10,000 BCE, it is Holocene era. So it is still the continuation of Holocene era. So the time period and climate, though it's obviously it was a dry climate and a warm climate. Megalithic culture predominantly is confined to Deccan Plateau and southern Indian region, and it flourished around 1000 BCE. So late megalithic is further classified from 800 BCE to 100 CE. So you can see the span. I know it's more coinciding with the Iron Age of the northern India, and it's more or less confined to Deccan Plateau and the uh, south, especially the Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Telangana, Andhra Pradesh regions. So megalithic tools. So so whenever you are discussing about tools based on the time period, you can easily guess. Even if you say don't know anything about the tools, just based on the time period, you can guess. So what we were discussing, the time period is around 1000 BC. By 1000 BC, we had the iron, right? And initial tools were Chalcolithic and bronze tools. Chalcolithic age started around 2000 BC. Bronze age of Harappa started around same time, 2500 BC. So something which is more advanced when compared to these three cultures, which is around 800 BCE, it should have all the three metal combinations. So as simple as that. So the tools are made up of copper, bronze, and iron. Yes. So, and by the time the tool technology has also evolved quite a bit, right? So you can see that axe, sickle, hoe, all these signify the growing evolution and the importance of agriculture, right? We have discussed in our last class with regard to the iron age that iron was used to clear the forest, okay, and then develop the agriculture in an extensive way. And we also said that the outcome of the iron age was the second urban civilization, which is Mahajanapada period, right? So we have seen, we see that most of these tools are very heavy and have some kind of ritualistic significance. Same thing we have discussed in Chalcolithic age also, if you remember, that there are some ethnographic evidences that present day Gonds are using these for worshipping similar tools. Okay, so lighter tools might have been used for some kind of daily purposes or in some agriculture purposes. There are some heavy tools also. These tools either they were used for any specific purpose or mostly for ritual significance. Okay. Okay, megalithic burials were huge. Okay, and they are mostly found near cultures. Some of the burials are cis. Important to note down these names. When you write an answer about megalithic burial, do mention these names. We'll see the figures in the coming part of the slide. Cis, Menhirs, Dolemon, and Cairns. Okay, these are the different kind of burials in megalithic culture we have seen. Okay, in under some burials there is presence of trident. Trident means right, the weapon which Lord Shiva carries, trident, and also some burials related to Lord Muruga. So if you see, even in the present day Tamil Nadu, Muruga is a very famous god. He is also called Lord Subramanya. So there seems to be a lot of burials related to God Muruga and also some tridents which are buried under these megalithic burials, and also lots of references to Sangam age. So if you see the span that is from 800 BC to 100 CE, and if you see the coincidence of Sangam age was around 3rd century BC to 2nd century CE, right? So Sangam age and the megalithic burials, the later megalithic burials, have coincided to certain extent. Around 500 years, they have coincided. So obviously, the impact of Sangam age is felt on these sites also. Under some burials, there are evidences of Sangam age. Sorry. Okay, so there are a lot of references of Sangam age in this particular culture, because there is a coincidence of around 300 to 400 years in this Sangam age, right? Mother goddess figurine and burials of belongings with the dead, signifying the belief in life after death. Okay, mother goddess figurines and burials of belongings with dead are found. So whenever we have discussed in the last class also, so whenever there are the belongings of the dead are buried along with them, there seems to be an assumption that there is life after death, right? So ornaments or some kind of clothes. In fact, we have seen in Neolithic age the pets also have been buried in places like Burzahom. The dog burial also was there. So it seems that there is some belief system that there is life after death in this particular culture. So these are canes. Okay, you can draw a raw form of this burial. So these are canes. This is how your cane looks like. But Gayatri, you are smiling.
If I draw, it only looks like some mound.
Yeah, it's like a mold only, na. It's like a mold only.
It comes like igloo, I feel. I don't know.
Okay, even see igloo. Igloo is also a kind of a dome pattern only. So it's something like a dome, as simple as that. So these are menhirs. Okay, these are menhirs.
So are these something related to that hero worship concept?
Yeah, it's possible. We are saying, right, there are some commemorative uses also, some ritualistic use, and some are for burial. So this one possibly can be a burial. This is a dolemon. Okay, so the names are interesting. So this is called a dolemon. So two huge rocks, on that one more huge rock is there. Okay, and this is a cyst, something like a rectangle which is partitioned in between, right? So for megalithic burials, the most important thing is to draw these figures. You write 300 words without these figures, you will get only 50% marks. Okay, try to practice them, quite easy. Okay, even if you draw something, it will still look like a megalithic burial, so don't worry about that. So one few important observations with regard to the culture of this phase, that is more burial sites and less habitation sites. So if there are more number of burial sites and less number of habitation sites, what does it suggest? They must have had some semi-nomadic lifestyle. Obviously, if there is habitation, you will have more evidences of habitation. But here we have less evidences of habitation, more evidences of burials. So that means they must have had some semi-nomadic lifestyle. Also, there must have been some contact with Harappan people. So one important observation: when did the megalithic phase start? Around 1000 BC. When did Harappan end? Around 1800 BC. So still, if you are saying that there is some element of contact, that
Sir,
means
Harappan ended the 1800 BC.
1800 around 1700 BCE. That is the official stand. Okay, so even if we are saying that if there is cultural contact, that means this proves that Harappan culture did not end overnight. There was some element of continuity in Harappan culture, right? So that we'll discuss very soon when we do the Harappan culture. There is some element of continuity in Harappan culture, which seems to have ended at around 1800, but it did not end. Probably there was some kind of diffusion effect. It went into some other areas, and from there it got into contact with megalithic cultures of south and all, right? This point you'll appreciate when we conclude in Harappa, which is in this class only, that the Harappan culture is uh, in the later phase, it has drifted towards south and east. That is what we conclude. Okay. And also if you see these burials, they are quite huge, right? They are quite huge burials. So to erect them, you need to have some amount of, modern technology. And also you should know, making those huge burials. And they in Dolemon you have the slab like provision, right? You are making two huge stones to be erected and then putting a slab on it. All this requires a lot of effort. And also there is obviously involvement of iron tools. Okay, this cannot be done with a say called Paleolithic or Mesolithic tools. Obviously iron tools must have had some role to play. Also, and many sites, what we have observed is these burials have been erected first and the dead bodies were inserted later. Can you, in history, find a similar relevance where the burials were constructed before and the bodies were kept
Yeah,
later?
pyramids.
Pyramids, okay. With regard to Indian history, Mughals,
Yes,
Mughals had this habit of constructing their own tombs before they died,
yes, sir.
right? So, so you can see the continuity with regard to culture. Okay, uh, you can see in history also the continuity in Gupta age. There is one king called Samudragupta who thinks that he is the shadow of God, and same concept was there during Mughals from the time of In fact, even before Mughals, the
Delhi Sultanate also, the second
Balban
one.
ruler,
The
Balban
sec-
ruler, he was called Zil, that is shadow of God. And Akbar also thought that he was nothing but God. He goes and keeps his name in khutbah, which is daily prayer of Muslims. So there is some element of continuity throughout the history, right? And also different quality of artifacts are found. So this is one important observation. So if you're finding some different kinds of different quality of artifacts, what does it signify? If if a BMW is buried with someone, and if a Alto 800 is buried with someone, so there is some kind of inequality in the society, right? So it seems that because by seeing these burials we can know that there is some kind of inequality in the society. Also, if you see the 1000 BC period, which is popularly referred to as later Vedic time in Indian culture, by the time your Varna system started getting more and more complicated, you started having these caste systems, right? Your caste and jati model started coming into the picture. So it was no more occupation based. The Varna system was actually based on occupation, but it became more and more birth ascribed status. The caste became ascribed status, then achieved status, right? That's what we discuss in anthropology. Also, there are a lot of evidences of political kingdoms. So if you see the three kingdoms, these three kingdoms are Sangam age kingdoms: Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. Okay, Sangam age also is extremely important. Okay, Um Sangam age in fact has now even gone into budget of India, so very important. Sitaraman quotes some quotes from Sangam.
Tiruvalluvar song.
So
Classic.
Sangamage is extremely important for UPSC, and it may come in prelims and also the GS papers. Okay. So again, the excavations have produced variety of tools which are iron tools, weapons, and domestic objects in large quantities. Okay. There are evidences of some pottery, bronze vessels, semi-precious stones. So all these points, what you can do is you can write them to show the culture and the mix of culture when it came to 1000 BCE. you can see that the phase wise improvement was all of a sudden found, everything coexisted, right? When it came to Neolithic, we did not have evidences of bronze, but we were speaking about copper. When Chalcolithic was there, we were saying it was more of copper, less of bronze. By the time Harappan came, we know we said they knew making of bronze, and it's a bronze culture. And by the time it's 1000 BC, so all these arts and tools coexisted, and predominantly iron was used because iron was robust. Iron was more harder metal when compared to say bronze or copper, right? There are certain evidences of horse sacrifices, okay, and some ceramic megalithic culture is black and red ware pottery bearing some kind of graffiti designs. So black and red ware started from the time of Harappan age, right? Black and red ware started from the time of Harappan age. Excuse me, just phone class phone అని చెప్పు. So black and red ware pottery started from Harappan time, and then it bore a lot of graffiti designs also, right? The economy of megalithic people was based on agriculture as well as animal breeding, right? This was the case right from Neolithic age. From Neolithic age, we've seen that people started, doing agriculture, and the animal domestication started right from the Mesolithic period. So one good thing and easy thing about archaeology is if you know what happened in what phase, by the time you come to the ending phase, that is from Harappa time, everything becomes like a khichdi. Everything is there. Okay, you can write everything and still it is relevant. It looks like hilarious thing, but it's true. See, the evolution which happened from 2 lakh years onwards, when it came to 1500 BC or 2000 BC at Harappa, when it came to that junction point, from there everything is present. Whatever you write, no one can deny. And one beauty is the archaeology is still so much not yet explored that if you write something, even the subject matter expert cannot say it is false, provided you write it in a probable way, like probably Harappans had this. So that is true, maybe. And I'll also think, oh, from where she has got this point. Is this true? See, till 5 years or 6 years before, there was a lot of uh, theories saying that Harappa ended at around 1800 BCE. Today, the research says Harappa did not end, it diffused towards rural areas. So the subject is evolving. The subject is evolving. And also, the Aryan migration theory itself is so diverse, right? Today we say there was Aryan migration theory, all the northwestern part of Indian people have Aryan genes, and then we counter it with Human Genome Project saying 99.99% of genes are same. And then we say Harappans are the Dravidians. Because of Aryan invasion, Harappans came to south and they became Dravidians. So a lot of cultures, and that's why you have your basic concept intact. And whenever you find some newspaper article or any site which is being excavated, just note down. Even if you take a printout of this slide, you just note down on that particular culture, you name that site. Okay, for example, Utnur. Utnur, one more mound has been found in Utnur. That's all. It's only a minute job. But then referring that example in exam will give you an edge. Okay. So what are the important sites? As we discussed, by and large, the megalithic sites are confined to Deccan Plateau and South India, right? So they are concentrated in Deccan Plateau and South India, especially in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. Even today, okay, living megalithic cultures, there are some evidences of tribes such as Gonds of Central India and Khasis of Meghalaya. This we discussed, right? So this is where your ethno-archaeology comes into picture. You are trying to extract something which is in the megalithic age from the present day practices. This can be an example of ethno-archaeology. So in the first class when we discussed ethno-archaeology, we have said that it is nothing but studying of present day cultures with regard to the old cultures. So if there is some element of continuity, you can refer them as examples. Okay. Important sites include Brahmagiri, Nagarjuna Konda, Jadiganhalli, and Adichanallur. Adichanallur is extremely important because in this particular place we have seen the tridents, Murugan burials, lot of evidences of Sangam age and megalithic burials are found in Adichanallur. You see the spread of the sites here, predominantly in Deccan area, right? Predominantly in Deccan area. Your Adichanallur is somewhere here, Brahmagiri here, Nagarjuna Konda here. Remember three or four important sites as I tell every class. Map tools must. Even if you are the most poor artist, please practice them, practice them, practice them. Okay. Ultimately, having given this exam so many times, now at least I realize that each and every mark counts. Okay. If you get 2 marks more in each paper. Okay. How many papers are you writing? Essay, 4 GS
Seven.
and 2 optional papers. 7. 7 into 2, 14. Looks very small. 14 by 20, 25 is your final score. Looks very small, but I know the importance of 14. Okay. It is like, that border, that side or this side. So don't take, and even if you see the last 2 years or 3 years, I've told this multiple times. Just go to Google, say CSC 2019 final merit list. You have the marks of the toppers or the ones who have made into the list. So once you make it to the list, you're topper. You're 600 rank, 1000 rank, no problem. Institute will call you topper. So go and see the toppers marks. For each mark, you have 4 or 5 people for 1 mark. And from last year, they have clearly told on what basis. For example, if Gayatri and Shweta end up getting All India first rank, okay, touch wood, it must happen. So, how do I differentiate between these two? It was a black box till last year. So last year the UPSC has come out clearly saying that whoever performs well in qualifying papers will be awarded the better rank. So that means your English and Telugu also became important. Okay, for guys, for Shweta, it must be Hindi or Rajasthani. Hindi. So Hindi and English also became important. Till now, we were thinking that okay, get 75 marks, done, boss, okay. But now, if you and it may look joke that what happens if I get first rank or second rank. It doesn't matter. I get IAS. First ranker is first ranker any day. Okay, they write books, they write blogs, they write strategies. So lot of thing happens with them. Once you are a first ranker, you are a first ranker. So they meet chief ministers also. So lot of things can happen. And one more thing is why rank is important. See, obviously everyone writes this exam for IAS only. No one goes and says that I want to become Indian Telegraphic Service, civil servant. So basically, that's the reason this is called an IAS exam. Okay, even in that, uh, if you if you if two people are from the same state and same category, and if they get same marks, there is something called insider quota and outsider quota in IAS system. Okay, for example, general category, there is only one seat in that year for general category. Okay, if X gets better rank than Y based on this performance, X stands a chance to get into his home cadre, Y may go into some other cadre. And now these days the cadre is like zonal system. 5 zones are there. Okay, so you cannot choose your zone. Previously, what used to happen till 2017, everything happens when I go to interview only. So 2017 के पहले कैसा था? It was like first a guy from Telangana. So luckily they were happy that Andhra came, bifurcation over. Telangana 1, Andhra 2, 3 Karnataka, 4 Tamil Nadu, 5 Kerala. मतलब यहाँ ही if you take a map like a guy, see this is what a Telangana guy here will only put these states in top 5. So Shweta is from Rajasthan. You are from Bhopal, right? So you are from Bhopal. So Bhopal girl will keep Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, okay, and then Rajasthan. Rajasthan because it's only diagonally here. Rajasthan. Worst case Maharashtra tak आऊंगी. So that was the strategy. So UPSC knew, okay, these guys on paper they are all India services, but they are only regional services. So what they did now, they came up with zonal system. Zonal system, they said all southern Indian states are zone 1 or whatever zone it is. So they categorize, they have analyzed last 10 years pattern of how people are keeping their preferences and they devise zones. Now once you give Telangana in option 1, you cannot give any southern Indian state. You should either choose West Bengal, you should choose Orissa, you should choose Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, whatever it is. Similarly, a candidate from Madhya Pradesh, after choosing that northern belt, is by default forced to select southern belt. So, what I'm trying to say is, everyone at the end of the day, everyone wants to be IAS in their home cadre, in their home district, in front of their parents, uncle, auntie, moving in that car. Okay, so doing service and all. Okay.
Venkat Mohan sir in one of the sheets wrote that everybody wants to be hero in their village, not in some Silicon Valley.
Yes.
That was the statement sir
So
wrote.
doing service, building schools, building hospitals. Okay. So what comes along with that, everyone wants that also. No one comes out. No one goes into UPSC board and says, yeah, I am fascinated by that car and a pilot car which goes in front, the DM board. So service is one part of it. The charm and charisma is the most important part which actually pushes people. Okay. Service means that as a matter of fact, you can do more service in an NGO. If service is the only aim in the life, go into NGO. There are questions in UPSC board which people have asked. Uh, Someone goes into interview and says that yes, I am desperate about service, 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 service. Then one board asked, boss, NGO में तो ज़्यादा service होता है. Why civil services? These days NGOs also give payment, right? So we'll come back to world sites. So that's the reason I'm telling you, whatever will enrich your marks, please do that. Okay. Uh, we need not do any PhD in archaeology. What fetches you marks in anthropology and archaeology, or as a matter of fact, any paper, do it. Do it sincerely, do it without fail. Okay. Don't think about, okay, this attempt I will qualify for prelims, next attempt I will go for mains. Next attempt I will do interview. Itna, don't do this exam in installments. Okay, you need not have this exam in installments. That is a mindset. When I talk to many people, they say that okay sir, first attempt na I'll go up to prelims clear हुआ तो बस ये क्या है यार मतलब do you understand the importance of the time prelims के बाद next prelims तक you have to spend 1 year. Okay, so not so easy. Don't have that installment approach ki, okay, this is my first attempt, just my aim is to clear prelims. Why you don't want to get first rank in first attempt? Someone has debarred you, someone is saying no, not allowed, and someone are writing books after getting first attempt, first rank, second rank. Why can't we take inspiration from them? We'll write a uh, complete bible. Why we can't write books? We'll also write books. We'll write blogs. We'll ask our family to keep a cutout in Chikarpalli Junction. You can do that, right?
Then
So,
are you being like sarcastic here?
no. I'm saying we are also capable of doing that. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm just trying to say that don't have that kind of installment approach. Go for it in the first attempt. Go for it. And all due respect to people are doing it, right? People are doing it. If someone is able to say preach a sermon, that means only after getting a rank someone can speak. All or else people will speak in the back end like me. So only if you want to be in the front end, you have to get a rank. As simple as that. Fine. So what are the world sites? There are around 35,000 world sites in mostly Europe and Mediterranean region. Okay. uh, Roman Empire, Brittany in France. So if you see all these particular world sites are also contemporary with Indian sites from 2500 BC to 200 BC, sorry 200 AD or CE, whatever it is. So if you see there is a pattern of continuity across the world sites and the Indian sites, and these pictures are of world sites only because this level of HD pictures you don't have in India. So these are sites from modern day Europe and France. So you can just try to write some world link also in your answers, especially archaeology questions in paper one. Paper one is your archaeology with regard to world culture also. Okay, and then debate on megalithic cultures. So you can write this as a case study or something. So as usual, what archaeologists felt is that these cultures developed first in the Europe and diffused to various parts of the world, including India. Okay, but then being an anthropology student, we know the importance of equally the importance of diffusion as well as cultural relativism. So we cannot blindly conclude saying that all the megalithic burials are borrowed from Europe. That is an insult to the human mind, the Homo sapiens. They are capable of having similar cultures at same point of time. That has been proved, right? The diffusion theory is as on date rejected. No one because we there's definitely some element of diffusion. Even the globalization is nothing but diffusion only. But there is no complete diffusion. That even if you take the case of present day India, which is under the tremendous influence of globalization, we have not borrowed everything blindly. We have borrowed only what is important to us and rejected things which are not important to us, right? So there is possibility of parallel evolution, and we have to support this theory only. Only the important question which is not yet settled is they appear almost coincidentally. That means a cane which is in Europe, looks exactly like a crane in India also. So some site in Tamil Nadu, that is Adi Chanalur, is as good as a site in Europe, right? Some site in Tamil Nadu like Adi Chanalur is as good as a site in Europe, and the shape of that particular barrier also is same, right? So the continuity. So the last part of the this thing is continuity. So as we saw that megalithic culture belongs to first millennium BC, that is around 1000 BC. There is some historical significance of building these megaliths, and that continues even till date, as we seen in the case of Gonds and Khasi tribes, right? Such kind of megalithic burials are existing even today, and also in some places of Karnataka. Okay. There are evidences of Sangam age, Sangam literature in many burials, especially those burials in Sangam area like Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and they have references of those dynasties like Chola, Cherya, and Pandyas. Okay, around 3rd century BCE, and also all this part, where the Sangam age came into the megalithic burials is classified as later megalithic period. Okay. So that is with regard to your megalithic burials. So any doubt in these megalithic burials? We still have a long way to go. Okay. Any doubt, Shweta and Gayatri? We'll take 5-minute break, you people, because Harappan is going to be more informative. It's 10:25. We'll come back at 10:30. Okay. 10:30, 10:35 maximum, right? Yeah, so let's come back. So welcome back. Mm, right. So we'll do Harappan age for next 1 hour or so, and then in the last 10-15 minutes we'll do this racial classification, racial elements of Indian population, and the linguistic classification. Okay. So these are straightforward 10 marker questions. Okay. I'll just dictate them. You can make notes of it, and yeah, so that it will be easy for you to have a one-page notes. And parallelly, what I'll do is I'll take a scanned copy of this. Okay, this is from a textbook called Nadim Hasnan. Okay, you can see this textbook. Since you are already doing Venkat Mohan sir's notes, no need of taking this textbook. But what I'll do is I'll scan the pages of these two units, which talk about racial classification and linguistic classification, and attach them along with our notes. I think I've attached 4 classes ka notes till now. So 2 more classes are pending. Along with these 2 notes, I'll give the PDF of these notes also. And in the class, we'll discuss. In the present class, we'll discuss the classification. But it is very clear and extensive here. Very straightforward. Okay. So right, Harappan age or the Indus Valley civilization. Very important topic across the subjects and across UPSC. Okay, maybe it's very important because we, as a Indian civilization, get connected to Harappan civilization. So, and also we take pride uh, saying that Harappan civilization is one of the first forms of urbanization, and Indian subcontinent is as old as Harappan civilization. Okay, so and also a lot of evidences are there, a lot of still there is a lot of mystery. So all these makes this particular age very interesting and fascinating. So it was present in the northwestern part of India from around 2600 BC to 1800 BC. It flourished. Okay, it flourished during this age. So don't be abrupt saying that it ended in 1800. That we'll discuss in the end of the class. It did not end at 1800. Initially, people thought it ended at 1800. 1800 to 1500 there was a void, and 1500 may they came Aryans. So that kind of clear cut timelines, let's not mention in the answers also. We don't know, right? How can we can clearly say that no, from 1500 to 1000 only Aryans existed. From 1000 they vanished. We cannot say such kind of statements with regard to
Sir,
country.
Aryans, we never say that they gone away, no? With
What we
only
say is
Harap.
Aryans have come. Aryans were pastoral nomads. They did not settle anywhere. Okay, there is no evidence, but from 1000 to 1500 to 1000 they came, and from 1000 it became more and more complicated. So, and from 1000 where is the reference of Aryans? We call it later Vedic age. From 1500 to 1000 you speak on about Rigvedic civilization and Aryans, and suddenly 1000 from Punjab you move to Ganga region, and say that from 1000 to 500, in fact up to your Mahajanapada, entire region is around Bihar area. So what happened to Punjab area then?
Since they're nomads, they migrated from that to
Okay.
this.
So that's what I'm saying. So uh, we cannot abruptly end any age like that. Anyhow, Harappan age, we'll discuss the continuity aspects. So in 1920, a person, archaeologist called Dayaram Sahani, started the excavations at Harappa. So in archaeology, the first site which is excavated, okay, that site is generally named if similar cultures are found with regard to that site. So since the first site excavated is Harappa in present day Pakistan, this entire Indus Valley civilization is also popularly called Harappan civilization. Okay, so that is the only reason why it is called Harappan civilization, not because Harappa is the most biggest site. Yes, initially when it was excavated, it was the biggest site, but later Mohenjo-daro came, today Rakhigarhi is there. Okay, but the only reason the Indus Valley civilization is called Harappa is because it was the first site which was excavated. Nothing more, nothing less than that. Right? And then in 1921, another archaeologist called R.D. Banerjee started excavating Mohenjo-daro. Poor person. If he would have done it in 1920, the entire civilization would have been on his name. Mohenjo-daro civilization. Okay. So as I said, 1 mark counts, so your 1 year counts. So there was interaction with rural areas for raw materials and other inputs. So one standout feature of this civilization, which we will discuss across this civilization, is their interdependence on the hinterlands. Okay, the very reason they became civilized society or civilization or urban pockets is because they were continuously supported by the rural bases. Right from the Neolithic age, we have radically seen the advancements in the agriculture. This agriculture over a period of time uh, forced us into a sedentary way of lifestyle. The moment sedentary lifestyle was found, immediately we have started producing more and more. We have moved out of the subsistence farming and produced surplus. The moment the man mastered the art of agriculture, he could produce more, less number of people could produce more food for more number of people, right? 10 people could produce food for 100 people. So all of a sudden these 90 people became unemployed or they had no relevance in agriculture. Then started your secondary activities: blacksmith, carpenter, merchants, traders. They had no role to play in the hinterland or the agriculture, or the rural areas. So they started migrating and settled in urban pockets, and they traded with rural areas for this surplus. So this is what is the interaction we are referring to. I hope you are understanding, right? Please keep in mind the continuity which we are discussing. Civilizations happened only because of surplus. Okay. The day there is no surplus, there is no vegetable supply from suburbs, there is no Hyderabad, there is no Bhopal. Okay. Yes or no? We will go in search of food. We will become nomads. Our lifestyle becomes semi-nomadic. So what are the characteristic features of the cities? So if you see, Gordon Child was the one who has given the term Neolithic Revolution, and he has defined certain characteristics of cities. What characteristics are to be present to call a particular place a city? Okay. Of course, these all 10 points may not be present in all the cities, but now it is by and large agreed by most of the archaeologists that these 10 points, majority of them, should be present for a place to be called a city or an urban town. Okay. So one is the population should be more. Okay. And there are various kind of activities happening in the city, not only the farmers, but there are many secondary activities like traders, merchants, elite class. Okay. And they are trading continuously with the rural areas for food and surplus. And there are some kind of buildings and monuments in cities, right? and there is some element of planning which is there in the cities. Okay, and there is some kind of record writing or record keeping in the urban pockets. Okay, there is some kind of scientific advancement in the urban pockets. There is some kind of artistic expression in the urban pockets. They engage in large distance trade. These are areas where the elite classes and the kings live. So now based on these 10 points, you can see how many of the present day cities actually have these features. Okay, I feel that most of the cities don't have point number 5. There is no planning at all. So I've been to Bhopal also. Half the Bhopal is BHL only, which is my organization. So if you go north side, you will have BHL boundary. South side BHL boundary. East side BHL boundary.
So I live there only.
You live in BHL township?
Yes, sir. Like,
Oh, don't tell me that your parents work in BHL.
no, no.
Okay. So, or else I'll just close my video. Fine. So there is some one chief minister. The chief minister lives in a place, and that place has one upper lake and some lower lake. Right? Upper lake, lower lake. That's all. I asked the auto fellow, show me something wonderful in Bhopal. He has taken me to that lake. He says that is chief minister residence. This is upper lake. This is lower lake. इसमें बोटिंग चाहिए तो कर लो आप तो खत्म वही so even Hyderabad is like that, don't think, we in Hyderabad are having that spread now. uh, Gayatri is not agreeing with me. What do you find so fascinating in Hyderabad?
I don't know. There is so much, sir.
Charminar, right from
No,
your.
Golconda.
Okay. Even your grandchildren will talk about that.
So then they are heritage structures, no, sir. Heritage structures are supposed to be limited only.
I'm saying the planning part.
Planning, but not there. Yeah.
That's
But
what. See, cities, because there is continuous urbanization, the planning part should be very, very, immaculate. I'm sorry
yes,
to say, the best city in southern India, Bangalore,
is
it's
also
also
devoid of plan.
horribly planned. Okay. The corridor in my home is bigger than Bangalore Road. Okay. The roads are so small and narrow. And then you can go to Mars and come back before you go to the railway station or airport. So that is the time it takes in Bangalore. You are a newcomer to the Bangalore. If you don't start, if you have habit of starting late for a bus or a flight or a train, then you'll end up missing it. At least Bangalore will ensure you that you'll miss it. So it's issue everywhere. I went to Delhi also. Delhi is also like that. So urban areas are to be planned very properly, especially when we are speaking about 2050, when this is going to reverse, right? As on date we have 65% rural, 35% urban. We are saying by 2050 this will exactly reverse. So that's what I'm saying. By that time we will all become nomadic. We will go in search of rural areas because urban area will be so populated, congested. So planning is important. We have beautiful schemes, Amrut, wo ye, but if you go onto the roads, it becomes Zahar, no Amrut. Okay,
Sir,
we have.
I stay 60 kilometers away from Hyderabad. So I don't know that Jawahar Nagar dumping yard is there. No, it's like they're planning one dumping yard in and around my area from 20
What is your
kilometers.
area?
Amangal.
Amangal. Yeah, I know that. That is Srisailam Highway.
Yes.
Okay.
And they are planning to have a dumping yard near my village. I don't know. And all these people are so proud that their land rates have skyrocketed and all that. I don't know what is going to
See,
happen.
the biggest issue is uh, waste management only as on date. Okay, the amount of waste which is generated in the cities, no one is clueless about what to do with them. Uh, Next generation is going to suffer because of the climate change, improper planning, and then yesterday there was a class of soil on population, so don't know what happens. Let's see. Important features of Harappan sites. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you here is the side heading. The side heading here is a direct question. Okay, what all side headings I'm going to mention? These are direct questions which you can expect in UPSC. So when they ask about Harappan trade, you categorize it as external and internal. Your job is done. Okay, then it reflects the awareness you have about the subject also. Okay, one thing I have learned over my multiple attempts in this exam is please have a side heading for everything. Please have a side heading for everything. Okay, so um, all your efforts should be such that you make the life of the examiner easy. Practice it, practice it. I'm being very honest and blunt that the knowledge levels of all the serious aspirants are at the same level, plus or minus 3%. That's all. All people who are able to crack the exam have mastered the art of presentation. Please remember that. They have only and only mastered the art of presentation. Knowledge, what Shweta has, what Gayatri has, what Nishanth has is all same. If you are a second attempt or sixth attempt, doesn't matter. Knowledge is same. But how beautifully you are presenting is coming down to your marks. Please practice it. The moment you give your prelims, take a 1 day, 2 day break, start attacking the answer writing. Very, very important. Because if there is a question on Article 14, okay, everyone will write. But what differently and what beautifully you write is what matters for your 10 marks. Okay. So external trade of Harappans. Harappans traded extensively with West Asian regions like Mesopotamian civilization. We have a lot of evidences about that, right? There are many ports of Harappans. They have a lot of seals which indicate the cultural connect with Mesopotamian regions. Okay, lot of evidences of seals which reflect the continuation trade links of Harappan age. Okay, there's a lot of trade links of Harappans with the other civilizations, especially the West Asian regions. Okay, and what is that we understand from these trade links is that Harappans seem to have mastered the art of ship making or boat making. Yes, obviously when there is long distance trades, there is ship making or boat making which they have mastered. The trade also influenced the culture of civilization. Okay, what happens when there is some continuity or there is some connection with Mesopotamia or the present day Iran, Iraq, the Persian regions? So the culture from that area diffuses to culture of this area. The culture of this area diffuses to culture of that area. So there seems to be some cultural mixing or influence on these two areas, right? The next is the carnelian beads, which were used as ornaments, were also traded across these regions. So the carnelian beads were also used as ornaments and they were also traded across these cultures. Seals made up of steatite were also traded. There are a lot of symbols on seals and these symbols reflect that these seals were used for weighing purposes. Right? If you see A seal is having some symbol, a bigger seal is having some symbol, a much bigger seal is having some symbol. So similar to the present day, 1 kg 500 grams 250 grams kind of weights, these seals must have been used for weighing purposes. Obviously when there is trade, what you are exporting or what you are importing will be weighed, right? And also they traded precious stones like lapis lazuli from the modern day Afghanistan and Kazakhstan. Okay, there are evidences of pottery also which was traded. Shortugai, which is in present day Balochistan, it was used as a trading outpost of Harappans. So what is trading outpost? Probably you can take an example of the present day Singapore, right? The present day Singapore is like a region where various countries come into contact and get their relevant exports and imports done. So it's a duty-free port. So similarly, Shortugai in the present day Balochistan must have been place where these ships from Mesopotamia and ships from Harappa must have come together, exchanged the goods and then gone back. So it's a trading outpost. Something what we are trying to do even today, the Chabar port. Okay. So we are emulating a lot of things of Harappans. We are also trying to construct somewhere near Balochistan only. So that's why Harappans are very close to us. Right. And then the internal trade. What is the internal trade? So Harappans was a Bronze Age civilization. We all know that they knew the art of smelting. Smelting was long back known in the Neolithic age only. But now copper plus tin and nickel. These three combination gives you bronze. It's an alloy. Bronze is an alloy. What is an alloy? Alloy is a mixture of metals. Alloy is a mixture of metals. So they knew the art of making bronze. For making bronze, the prominent metal is your copper. And they got copper from your K3 fields. Where are the K3 fields in the present day? Rajasthan. Okay. And they also had awareness about gold. Okay. So gold, they got it from KGF2, right? Or KGF1, wherever it is. So they got gold from KGF, that is the Kolar gold fields. Okay, of course, the deposits of gold in the present day Kolar are very less, negligible, almost zero, you can say. But the Harappans traded internally. So this also is very important. Their external trade is important, but the very reason this civilization thrived for almost 1,000 years is because of the internal trade, which is much more important. And also, as we discussed, the urban areas depended on great extent with regard to rural areas for trade. Okay, there are evidences of linkages of trade in many sites excavated so far. Okay, they not only traded externally, but they traded internally with regard to the raw materials, with regard to the surplus. Okay, and that's how they continued their culture. This is Harappan trade. So next is the Harappan script. You can see, whatever side heading, you must have seen some kind of question already in UPSC. Okay, Harappan script. Harappan script is still the biggest mystery till date. Yes or no? It is not yet deciphered. So hence there are so many assumptions about this culture. The moment the Harappan script is deciphered, probably will be as clear as what we know about Ashokan time, right? Today we know so much about Ashokan age or the Mauryan age because we could decipher the script of Ashokan inscriptions. Okay, it was done by James Prinsep, yeah, James Prinsep. So it is likely that Harappans seem to have spoken different languages. The scripts are engraved and written on seals, on pottery, and copper and bronze implements or ornaments. Most of the inscriptions are very short Average size of an inscription is 5 signs, while the lengthiest inscriptions we have seen are around 26 signs. It is a sign language. Harappan language is a sign language. And one thing is there is no significant change in the script pattern. That means across the Harappan sites, similar script was used. Similar sign language, similar symbols were used. On the whole, there are around 450 to 500 symbols, and each symbol has stood for some particular word or syllable. They were written from right to left. So how do you know if they are written from right to left or left to right?
The
Gayatri?
gaps. I mean, after ending a sentence, they might.
Okay. Shweta, I've given a clue also here in the bracket.
The space.
How?
The first line, then the space, like then continuation of second line, sort of.
I know they don't write on white papers. Okay. You must be
The
all.
space gets reduced as they move from right to left.
Uh, we all write answers, right? So many answers we write. There is a clear cut margin there, and that margin ka corner may we want to adjust and fix one word. So the moment you write from left to right, your right gets crammed up. Yes or no? Because we start as a poet and then end up saying, oh no, here a place ho gaya, isko kaise bhi isko, you have to keep that.
End up doctor. Start
Uh,
as poet and end up doctor.
the unfortunately what happens is all the long words come at the end only. So we don't want to give the dash, and for example if the word is like different is a big word. So different ko diff dash ernd we don't want to write. We want to write the different there only. So we get crammed up there. Similarly, we have observed lot of signs of Harappans that they have moved from right to left, and they at the when come to that left part, the sign language is getting compressed, crammed up. So don't worry, this is not a problem of present day. The problem is there from 4,000 years. Okay, still we have not mastered it. It was science then, it is script now, only difference. Right. So there was frequent writing on various seals, probably because, as we discussed, these seals must have been used in merchant transactions. Right. These seals must have been used in merchant transactions. And then there are a lot of writings on pottery, writings on bones, beads, copper, and bronze items, which might have been used for magical religious significance. Right? Some signs must have been used for religious significance also. As we still do not know much about the script, all the thing we are doing is only trying to guess. Okay. Even if you get a question, the first line itself you make it clear that Harappan script is not deciphered and still being studied. So that makes your statement clear that what all you are speaking is.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, when I hear for the first time that Harappan script is not deciphered, I find it a very unique point. But after studying for years, it seems a regular point to me.
Hmm.
Like Harappan script is not deciphered. For examiner also, I think he might have read many scripts, and for him it is also not unique point as we think.
No, it is unique for him only. It is very unique for him because not only Harappan script, he cannot even decipher our script. So for him it is very unique. He knows that in 3 hours when we write 20 questions, only 15 questions can be deciphered. Okay, 5 questions are more harder to decipher than Harappan script. At least that person over a period of time could have understood Harappan script. But sorry, our scripts are much more, much more difficult to decipher. Just a second. Hello. Yeah, that's a monotonous point. Ki Harappan civilization is not deciphered, not deciphered, not deciphered. We are listening it from last this thing, and of late there are some research advancement happening with regard to script. They are trying to match it with Rig Veda and later Vedic period, trying to understand the symbols. There is a lot of PhDs are going on. Whoever is doing history, PhD on history, which is rare these days, they are trying to explore Harappan civilization and script. I agree that it's a monotonous point, but then it is what it is. We are in continuous efforts of making this script more and more deciphered. And also, if you see, the script seems to have been disappeared. The writing seems to have been disappeared after 1700 BCE, proving a point that writing was confined to urban pockets and it did not percolate enough to the rural areas. So the social problems like illiteracy was there during that time also. Okay. Yes or no? The rural areas did not have the art of writing.
They
Had the
need not say writing is only to keep an account. I think the primary purpose was to keep an account of details, and rural areas might not have needed that.
yeah, that's see. But this culture traded so extensively with rural areas. What was harm for it to pass on the writing to rural areas? So rural areas need not keep an account of anything. You mean to say they are also trading day in and day out with these cities. They are sending their surplus to cities. Okay, but as we see that when after the mature Harappan phase, when in the later Harappan phase, when the sites get dispersed, okay, uh, there was no continuity. See, one major issue of Aryans, what was it? They could not write anything. So that's why we don't have any evidences. Even Rig Veda is completely oral, right? It is an oral form of transmission which has happened over a period of time. And then maybe some saint or some fellow in 500, 600 years back, he has written that, and then now it is called Rig Veda. But so and the entire issue with archaeology is the same thing, that there are very little written evidences, and hence giving a lot of subjectivity to these observations. We are seeing a female figurine and then giving 100 definitions for it. We are saying it's a cultic system, it was a woman's clay figure, and we are seeing a priest figure. We are saying that fellow is elite class, and some fellow says that fellow must be a priestly class. And then we are coming with versions like priest dominated Harappan time. No, someone says it's a chiefdom. So unless you decipher the script, okay, you have so much of subjectivity with regard to the observations. Yes or no? If you see the Ashokan times, you deciphered the script and you could be very clear ki what was what. You saw a stupa. You saw a stupa and then you came to know that yeah, this is where they practiced or they buried the Buddhist relics. That's all. There is no second thought. And you are not standing in front of a stupa and trying to speculate. What must have it been used for? Is it a palace? Is it a burial? Is it a this thing? So when you see a stupa, you are clear, right? So that kind of clarity will be obviously missing when you don't know the script of a particular culture or civilization. And the problem is there is no script in Neolithic, Mesolithic, and Paleolithic age. But since there is so much advancement in this civilization, and the impact of this civilization is felt over 4,000 years, even today, the unfortunate thing is we do not know the intricacies of this civilization. So that is about the script. So you see the script. So I'm sure one of you will be easily able to decipher it. Okay. So very simple. The Dolavira signboard looks like a Nike showroom board. So it's a Dolavira signboard, and this is a script.
I don't think anybody can decipher that at any point.
No, I tried to decipher. Uh, I could relate to a lot of present symbols. This looks like a fish.
I could only relate the wheel part and hammer, some hammer thing. I don't know.
If you read the book Immortals of Meluha,
I read it.
that fellow will use these symbols many places.
Ah,
So probably Mr. Amish has deciphered the Harappan script. But you see, a lot of repetition of symbols are there. This symbol is here, is here, it's here. This looks like present day Balaji's this thing. Okay.
even I felt that. This one, the last to third one also we have
This
similar.
one.
No, that one. Uh,
Here.
last to third, fourth one.
This one.
Balaji.
You're reading the script wrong. Last to fourth.
Yeah. Yes. Last to second, yes.
You should come from right.
Yes, okay. Second one.
So this is not yet deciphered. So unfortunate. Right. Harappan religion. So the next important question which you may get, and the topic is Harappan religion. So Harappan religion also, it is again a debated topic. We don't know much about Harappan religion. All we can say that they were natural worshippers. A standard statement which we associate with Harappan civilization and Rigvedic civilization is they were natural worshippers. Okay. We see that there are a lot of seals, lot of seals which have some religious significance. There seems to be some kind of female worship, as there is always there in the agriculture societies with regard to fertility. So people, the moment they become in sedentary lifestyle, they aspire for kids, and the moment the kids angle come into the picture, you have gods related to fertility, right? So you have this mother goddess here. Large number of terracotta figurines are there which are related to worship. And you see this is the famous Pashupati seal. Okay, this particular seal is called Pashupati seal. There are many important observations in this seal which we discuss in the next slide. And you see this female figurine with fan shaped headdress. So what is this? Is it a queen's one, or is it a hairstyle, or is it a bun? We don't know. But this is a female figurine. Okay, there what the archaeologists have guessed is this must be a figurine of mother goddess which was worshipped for fertility. But the hairstyle is really appealing. Okay. Fine. Harappan religion. In the next part, we see that the Pashupati seal. Okay. Pashupati seal is made up of steatite and discovered at Mohenjo-daro. See, this is the Pashupati seal. It is made up of steatite and it is found at Mohenjo-daro. What do you mean by Pashu means? Pashu means animals. Pati means Lord. Pashupati means Lord of the animals. Okay. If you see this seal, it's a male figurine with buffalo horn and legs bent. So he's in that Padmasana pose, right? It's a buffalo horns are there here. He's circled with many animals like buffalo, rhino, elephant, tiger. Quite clear, we can make it. And see, this is a symbol. This is a script, Harappan script. Same figure which we have seen here. This one is present here also. So I am assuming it must be a vowel. So which is repeating so many times. Okay. So this particular
So you
figure,
can write that point. It must be an oval. It
yeah, I am
must.
trying to decipher.
It is like it is making sense. Vowels are the sounds which
Yeah,
repeat
which repeat the
often.
most, right? So, he was flanked by animals like elephant, rhino, buffalo, and tiger. Okay, and two antelopes at the bottom. And the person has three faces and the erect penis. And then it is resembling with modern day Shiva or Mahayogi posture in later Vedic religion. You can see this, right? Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva is in this pose only. Not convinced, Gayatri? You should ask Sadhguru then. Okay. So this particular pose is related to later Vedic Shiva pose. Yes or no, Shweta? Not seen that
No,
cartoon
sir, I think he is
huh?
relatable. Yes, I think he is relatable.
You did not see that Shivaka serial, Gayatri. You see there. Okay. This pose is relevant to actually Lord Shiva.
I feel like somebody is sitting. That's all.
Okay.
So Lord Shiva has moon, snake, and all of that. Nothing is there.
Okay, we are not talking about the technical aspects of Lord Shiva. We are talking about the posture. Okay, he when in dhyan, okay, when he is in Adi Yogi, this thing, he is sitting like that only. So, what are the other aspects of Harappan religion? Phallus worship. So there are lot of evidences of small lingas. Okay, lingas or phalluses. So there are multiple versions again with regard to these lingas. Were they used for private worship? Were they used for playing games? Were they used for astronomical calculations? All these are debatable. Okay, but we assume that these small lingas which are found in the lower town of various Harappan sites may be used for private worship. Based on this, we say that there is a public worship in the form of great bath and there is a private worship in form of phallus worship, right? And also we find fire altars at Kali Bengan. Fire altars means the ones which you do havan, the homam we called. So So once you find them, see, obviously, if you find fire altars, that means there is some kind of public ritual happening. Okay, 1,000 years down the line, someone may find a fire altar in KCR's farmhouse. So then it is very obvious that he has performed Chandi Homam. So that is kind of relevance. You attach it to fire altar, right? So in general, they were natural worshippers. Okay, and one striking feature, which you can always mention in Harappan religion is there were no monuments with regard to the religion. If you see Mesopotamia, if you see Mayan culture, okay, there are huge temples, huge monuments, even the pyramids of Egypt, though they are used as a burial places, they are huge. So no such either worship or burial monuments like even megalithic tombs are not present in our Harappan age, right? There are evidences that they must have had some private and public religion. We just now discussed. The phallus worship or the linga worship is a private religion, while the Great Bath has some kind of public religion, maybe like Kumbh Mela, the public aspect of our religion. So many seals, amulets, ornaments depict cultic significance. Animals might have been worshipped. Okay. There are evidences that people tree has been worshipped by Harappans. See how much we are related to Harappans. Even today, even today we worship people tree, right? So, and then the burials. So burials are the extended form of religion only. We see that the burials of Harappans are in north-south direction. Again, a striking feature. Even today, the burials are in north-south direction only. Okay. And there are little evidences of burying dead ornaments with the dead people. Ornaments with the dead people. So Harappans probably now did not believe in life after death, or maybe they must have been greedy. For this hereditary started from them only. Okay, why we should give all gold and all to a person who's dead? Let's keep the gold and dump that fellow. So, one striking feature of Harappan civilization is they did not bury. There are evidences, but by and large, the majority of burials do not have the ornaments of the dead buried. Okay, and some places there are multiple burials. That is, man and woman are buried together. Again, an evidence of maybe prevalence of the sati or something, but we cannot say that conclusively anything. Man and woman were buried together at a site called Lothal. Okay, there seems to be continuity with modern day Hinduism, but Harappan did have a lot of diversity in their religion, and lastly, they did not have temples or big monuments like the present day. Had Harappan had any god, they would have also constructed temple in Punjab or Uttar Pradesh, right? So they had all the uh, resources at disposal. They had gold, they had stones, they had copper. Only thing they missed is they did not have the vision of making a temple. Okay. So we are making one good temple, Ram Mandir, right? So what is your take, Gayatri? Why are you laughing about Ram Mandir?
No, sir, I don't like it. But what
Don't
to
like
do?
it. Okay.
What to do?
Shweta will be obviously liking it. Yeah, Ram Mandir is okay. I mean, it's okay. Uh,
Sir, I feel about the precedent setting and principles and precedent setting. It is in that way. It's scary.
you are a good student of Mohan sir. So, sir is not that of a BJP fan. Okay, it's not about any political inkling or something, but fine. So,
Just voted in MLC elections and come.
oh, I should also go now. You are also in that. You are in the Rangareddy, Mehboob
Yes,
Nagar.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So Harappan people. So again, this is an important topic. So religion is clear, Shweta. Clear with the religion. So I have made direct points. Okay. Please remember those points and reproduce. That's all. Because I have borrowed from multiple sources. Okay. At least I have referred 3 or 4 textbooks, and I'm sure and confident these points you will not find in any one book. You go to R.S. Sharma, you go to class 12th NCRT, but still there are some missing points we have tried to cover. So I have put good effort, so you don't put any effort. All effort you put is just revise these slides multiple times. Okay. So how did Harapans look like? What did they wear? What did they do in free time? Okay, this is another interesting aspect. So Harappans were obviously, they were in the advanced form of evolution, and they were all Homo sapiens, so they must be looking like us, more or less like us. Okay. From the figurines, from various seals and figurines, we come to know that Harappan women wore skirts made up of cotton and wool. Okay. Different hairstyles, you have just seen the beautiful fan shaped hairstyle. Okay. And then including the fan shaped. Yes, it's covered. So different hairstyles were there. So somewhere I've read that majority of the women wore this kind of bun hairstyle. The bun hairstyle, which women keep wearing. So that was the most prominent hairstyle which women had. And obviously they wore a lot of ornaments like necklace, bangles, earrings, etc. Okay. Again, one more continuity in culture. Men either wore turban or they were bareheaded. Okay, they wore something like a bottom like a dhoti. Okay, they wore something like a dhoti because they were the first to use cotton. Okay, they knew the usage of cotton and wool, so they could make the uh, wardrobe, as we call today, with these cotton and wool. Men also wore ornaments, but not necklaces. Okay, there is a disconnect here. Today, men wear the necklaces, right? So they did not wear necklaces. And then children played with lot of toys, and these toys are made up of terracotta seals. We can see that. I'll show you that picture. Small cart shaped, bullock cart shaped toys are there, and they seem to have been played games like chess in free time. As you've seen that, right? The phallus worship, we have said either it must have been used for private worship or it was been used for games. Okay, you remember in your, I don't know if you have played that in childhood, we used to play with this shells and what do you call that?
Kanche.
Astachama, you call it, right? Gayatri, I don't know. You remember what is that called, Shweta?
Sa kanche.
We also used to play with a lot of household items, right? So like that, they also had this playing of chess and other games. And one more important observation is women seem to be associated with food processing activities. Okay, during Paleolithic age, hunting was by men, gathering was by women, and as the agriculture became more and more predominant, the produce was by man, and the processing of this agriculture produce was by women. Okay, there was no gender stratification; these were only gender roles. There is difference between that. Okay, so what Harappans ate? Did they eat burger, pizza? So yeah, we have seen that from Mesolithic, Paleolithic age to Neolithic age, the dietary patterns have changed from more protein based to more carbohydrate based because now we have started producing more and more rice and wheat. So rice and wheat are obviously more carbohydrates when compared to meat. Okay, so Harappans obviously ate meat. So there's no doubt about it. That's not a vegetarian society. But then they also produced various crops like wheat, maize, millets, pulse, etc. They had domesticated the animals, okay, and they obtained meat from various animals. And there are evidences showing that they used oxen for plowing the fields. And also, they were cultivating in the northwestern part of India. These are semi-arid regions, right? So they seem to have borrowed the water from canals of Indus River. They were borrowing water from Indus River and its tributaries, right? Yes or no? Shweta, any doubt?
No, sir.
I'm referring to the sites in present day Rajasthan and that places which are in semi-arid regions. So they must have drawn the water from running rivers of Indus Valley, Indus River. Okay. As we discussed, they were the first to use the cotton. Okay. They knew the art of smelting. They knew the art of making bronze. This also we discussed. And they have used the molten wax method. Can anyone tell me the molten wax method? It is very neatly given in Anya. Gayatri?
Yes, yes. There is mold, and in that they'll be posting what is it? Pouring wax, and then they take out something like that.
So,
Lost wax technique, something.
yeah,
Lost wax.
right. There is a mold, they pour wax into it, and that wax gets into the shape, and then into that wax they pour this bronze metal, and then the heat. This wax melts away and the bronze stays. So this art was mastered by the time we came to the 10th century AD by Cholas. In Cholas, we see that there is extensive bronze making. Yes, the Nataraja statue. There is no evidence of horse domestication. However, there are horse bones at a place called Surkotada. Okay. So there is difference between knowing a horse and domesticating a horse. Domestication of horse was done by Aryans, but not by Harappans. Okay. So the Harappan health. Yeah. My voice is clear. Yeah. Harappan health. So no major nutritional inadequacy was found in Harappans. So they had some kind of good diet. If you see what they ate, you'll understand that. See what they ate wheat, maize, millets, pulses, rice. Okay. Uh, they ate meat. Okay.
Where did sir go, Sweta? I did not hear. I was talking to my mom. She bought something.
No, I am here. I'm just changing my room. Sunday, right? So lot of disturbance. My daughter has just woke up.
Okay.
So if she comes into the screen, it becomes difficult for me. I've just shifted my room so that it's just give me a minute. Right. Am I audible? So being Sunday, she'll not leave me. So if I am seeing if I am on a laptop, she thinks I'm seeing some movie and comes to me. So right, right. So if you see, Harappans had a very good diet, right? Fish, meat, no major kind of nutritional inadequacy was not there in Harappans, and by studying their dead bodies and bones, we find that they had some kind of arthritis. That means their bones are having some problem, right? So this reflects that they must have carried some heavy loads. That's why they suffered from arthritis. And then their dental pathology. The dental pathology refers that it's a community of agriculture. So how does one know that it's a community of agriculture from dental pathology? Shweta,
No.
try to guess. Okay. Gayatri,
So maybe the teeth which are meant for
sorry?
that vegetarian food teeth might have been used so much. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
not like that. See, when we eat something, today we have toothpicks to remove, but that time there was no issue of that. So it's between the teeth are steadied. Okay. That is what is called dental pathology. Okay. So on the whole, they had a healthy life, and of course there are some evidences of prevalence of diseases like malaria. Okay. So far, any doubts? So all these are straightforward points, and I have covered almost some 30-35 slides on Harappan. So it's a huge material. Okay, why I'm telling so many times is don't refer to any other material including R.S. Sharma or your textbooks. Please go by this material, and it is more than enough for Harappan civilization. Okay, and then Harappan pottery. As you all know, Harappan pottery is black and red ware pottery. It is a clay made, a fired clay made up of hand wheel, okay, and some pottery are engraved. So this is a classical example of black and red ware pottery. Then what was the occupation of Harappans? Okay, what did they do for earning their livelihood? So as you all know, it's an urban civilization. They were different kinds of occupations like traders, merchants, blacksmiths, carpenters, sailors. Okay, there are some evidences of landowners, tenants, allied sections, and rulers. And then there is no evidence of caste system. It might not be an egalitarian society because we are speaking about the presence of a elite class. At the same time, it is not an caste based or stratified society also. There are fortifications in many cities which give an evidence of ruling class, right? Obviously, there seems to have been a ruling class. And the artifacts of the Harappan culture show continuity across various cities or sites, which shows a strong message that there seems to be some kind of political stability. Yes? So only when there is political stability, you have large number of regions with same homogeneity. That was found during Mughals also, right? Especially during Akbar. Yes. Some archaeologists suggest, this is a priest king seal. They say that, like in the Egypt, Harappan culture was also dominated by priests. So they say that, it's a autocratic priest kingdom. This is again an assumption. So fair service says that there must have been some kind of central command which was collecting some kind of tax from the rural areas. We have seen the presence of granaries in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. So once there is a granary, there is a suspicion that these granaries have been used to deposit the grains collected as tax from the rural areas. Okay. There is one more archaeologist by name Elman Service. He calls Harappan a chiefdom. We are all anthropology students. You understand what is a chiefdom, right? Something like a potlatch where redistribution is done. It's like a chiefdom. So today, as on date, most of the archaeologists agree with Elman Service that it is a chiefdom. So if someone is asking you what kind of a society was Harappan civilization, it was not purely egalitarian. It was not something like a Neolithic age or a Mesolithic age. There was some kind of elite presence. There is some kind of elite presence, right? Right. The most important part of Harappa. Question after question every year comes on this. Harappa and the urban planning. Okay. Most of you must be knowing many aspects of urban planning. Okay. But we'll discuss it once again. So the town planning or the urban planning of Harappan civilization is the highlight of this civilization. Okay. The cities were highly developed and there are evidences of centralized administration in the cities. There is a lot of sophistication in some sites like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. What are the features? Remarkable town planning with excellent drainage and sanitization systems. We are lacking even today on these. We have various schemes, wash not, whatnot. So, remarkable town planning with excellent drainage and sanitization systems. Is my audio breaking or is it clear?
Clear. It's clear.
Let me know because I'm in the last room. If there is any internet connectivity issue, I'll just try to share.
Only your voice has dropped a bit, but the
Voice is breaking a bit.
no, sir, the voice is has come down. It's not
Sorry.
breaking. You're speaking little low. I think.
Is it fine now? Yeah. So, remarkable town planning with excellent drainage and sophistication on sanitization systems. Buildings and houses were made up of burnt bricks. So, even today we use burnt bricks, right? We have this brick kilns where the bricks are burnt continuously, right? So burnt bricks is the characteristic feature of Harappans. You have the evidences of mud bricks in Neolithic and Chalcolithic age, but burnt bricks is a characteristic feature of Harappan civilization. A presence of citadel and lower town. That is, citadel and lower town means a fortification is there in between these two areas in the town or the city. In a site called Dholavira in present day Gujarat, there is some middle town also. So what archaeologists suspect is a bureaucracy. The present day IAS aspirants live in the middle town. Okay. So obviously there is an elite class, there is a common man in between, there is bureaucracy, right? So that bureaucracy stayed in middle town. That is one of the guesses with regard to Dholavira. So the moment you clear the exams, you go from lower town to middle town. Or if you have a popular following or a popular base, you can directly go from lower town to citadel. You can become chai wala to citadel wala. So
Yes, I have a funny story here. One of my college mates, he cleared CAPF assistant commandant,
just
and
give me a minute. My fan volume is more and I cannot hear you. Just give me a minute.
so one of my friend, not friends, acquaintances, he cleared this. CAPF assistant commandant, and he did his UPSC interview once also, and he gave this year mains. So in college, he liked a girl, and he she ignored him back then. And after clearing a CAPF assistant commandant, it's rumored that they're together, and now he in his friend circle, it's rumored that he's saying that this is just time pass. I'll marry MLA's daughter. He's I don't know what is that. He's planning to marry MLA's daughter and pretending somewhere.
It's all I don't know. I am sure he'll top in GS4. So so GS4 is about ethics, right? So this exam at the end of the day, that's what I told you. Okay, a lot of people portray service, empathy and all, but there are people who
I
want.
have seen a transformation. He was a normal person earlier. It's like it's okay. I used to have a good opinion, and now it's like I unfollowed him on Instagram. I don't want to see you. It's like that. I cannot tolerate that kind of pretension and all.
Depends, right? What kind of transition this exam brings. After going through the grind, okay, it's okay to be in the limelight and to have that cynosure tendency, but should not overdo things. You have people, even in toppers, you see, many people are good. Many toppers are down to earth. They just get the rank. Of course, the 3 months of euphoria is there between June to August. Some people disappear after August once they join the foundation course, but some people, uh, keep on posting every single update of their foundation course, and then it doesn't stop there. The present trend is, the collectors giving something to poor people, that is also taken pick and that comes into their Instagram. That is a duty. You're doing a duty, and if you are giving some benefit of government scheme to some poor people and taking a photo of it, up to you. Then better become prime minister, na? Where your photo is there in all the schemes. So IAS is always, bureaucracy is a back end job. You should be ready for it. You should be ready for it, and it's again
Anonymity is the core value you are supposed to have.
exactly. So it is again individuals how they react to this instant name and fame. Okay, because all of a sudden the media is behind you, the entire Ashok Nagar area is behind you. You get calls from a lot of institutions. So can we publish your rank? So it's all there. Shweta, if she's in Bhopal there is one. The center of the city has that lane continuously. That all the entire lane has a lot of coaching institutes. I don't know what area it is called. I forgot it.
MP Nagar.
MP Nagar, right. So MP Nagar is. I stayed there. I stayed in a hotel in MP Nagar. So that lane is like Ashok Nagar only. So all institutes, MEDIC, उसके बाद ये वो ये, so all institutes. So uses of, okay. So the streets crossed at right angles to each other. Okay, the present day also we have something of like that, right? There are junctions where the streets are crossing each other at right angles, and each and every house has its own drainage system, and this drainage system goes and gets connected to a common drainage system, which from where the uh, uh, discharge is happening. So this is the most advanced form of drainage system. Even today, unfortunately, many of our cities do not have this kind of setup. The disposal of the sewerage or the drainage is even today a big headache for the municipal committees or municipal councils. Okay, so they had this kind of advancement 4,000 years back. Windows faced to backwards of the streets, not towards the front of the streets. Why? Because they did not probably want to avoid, they wanted to avoid the pollution. And there are evidences of presence of granary. So now what purpose will granary serve? It was to collect tax, for storing grains for future use, or redistribution, because we are proclaiming it as a chiefdom, right? Something like a potlatch. Collect the entire grains into the granary and then distribute to the poor or needy. Possible, right? Right. Houses had central yard which was open. Even today, in all popular Telugu movies, the central yard is always open, where the heroine comes and then suddenly the rain comes and then they dance. So the central yard was open. So probably for more, ventilation. Okay. In village areas, I'm sure you will see many houses of this model, especially in modern day Kerala and all. The When you enter the house, the central yard is open. The rooms are towards the four corners of the rectangle. I hope you are able to visualize what I am telling you, right?
My old house was like that. It was central open and rectangle.
Ah,
It was
right.
like all the mesh on the
So
upside to the
your
open.
great grandfather used to sit there in a rocking chair. So
I did not see them, but the house
so
was like that.
that's the house setup even the Harappans had. Okay, and there is a presence of great bath in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. So what is this great bath? It is probably for public rituals. Okay, like something similar to the present day as we call Sangam, where people go and take part of it. So this great bath must have had some ritual significance. You see this is a priest, bearded priest. This is a woman with lot of ornaments on her hand, and these are the toys I was referring to. You see, child toys, so nice and wonderful. At least we can see those toys. Today's toys are all in the gadget. Okay, so children played with such toys in Harappa. So the conclusion probably you can write is the overall Harappan town planning was very scientific and clearly indicates that the Harappans were chiefly urban people. So this is the great bath we are referring to. See the kind of symmetry in this design, and really marvelous, right? If someone can able to build this kind of a structure 4,000 years back, it's really marvelous. See the symmetry. Here you have this, here you have this, here you have this, and then the steps. Gayatri, do you feel that this is made in the recent past and just attributed to Harappa?
So in some movies, in I don't know, Paurnami movie, or there is similar structure of steps, Rajput wells or something. There's like this only, Rajput wells with steps.
Yeah, you have this Rani Ki Vav, right? Rani Ki Vav, which is now a World Heritage Site.
Ah,
The steps are there.
this like that.
Fine. And another important aspect, the theories of decline, the most contentious part. How Harappans declined? Did they fall overnight? Did they vanish overnight? Harappan civilization started declining from 1800 BCE onwards. Started declining. Okay. It did not decline overnight, it started declining. While some cities have declined slowly, some cities have come to an end abruptly. This is a possible and viable theory, right? So all the cities cannot go like this off in a moment and then it doesn't happen like that. One or two cities, because of some reasons, must have abruptly ended. But by and large, most of the cities have declined very slowly. So, what are the probable reasons of this decline? The first theory, which was given by Mortimer and Wheeler, is the Aryan invasion theory. Okay, but the problem here is Harappa flourished up to 1800 BC. The decline was observed from 1800 BC. We have evidences that the Aryan age was about and around 1500 BC. So if Aryan invasion happened, there are two things. You should have evidences and you should have the timeline matching. Unfortunately, both of these are not matching in this particular theory because you have a time gap of 300 years. And also there are no proper evidences. Of course, there are evidences of large number of dead bodies which are uh, lying in particular cities, but those are confined to only certain pockets. If there is an invasion across this bigger civilization, there has to be large amount of havoc or destruction which must have caused, right? But there are no such evidences. So it is rejected by later archaeologists like B.B. Lal. Very important. B.B. Lal is a very important archaeologist with regard to Harappan civilization. And one theory is large floods must have caused the decline. It is seen in Mohenjo-daro that this city was to great extent demolished or disappeared due to a huge flood. Even in the movie called Mohenjo-daro, it is shown that this city is uh, disappearing due to flood. Okay, agreed. But what about the other sites? If there is a flood in Mohenjo-daro, the flood cannot affect some 10 or 15 cities at one point of time, right? Unless they are modern day cities where a 10 centimeter or 10 millimeter rain can cause flood. Okay. And another point is change in river course. Am I audible? Yeah. Another point is change in river course. So some archaeologists say that the Indus River has changed its course, so that's why the cities did not flourish. But tell me, a culture which was so advanced, which flourished for almost 1,000 years, if there is any change in the course of the river, with the technology they had, they should have been adjusting to it, right? Possible?
Both possibilities are there. They could have adjusted also, but they could have also suffered also.
So that's what. But that cannot cause the abrupt decline as we are speaking. Right. So even changing the course of river is some hundreds and thousands of years geographical phenomena. Yes, you're not convinced, Gayatri?
I don't know if it is hundreds and thousands years of geographical phenomena. It can happen due to some seismic activity and something of that sort also.
Okay, but then definitely did not happen overnight. Okay, that much we can conclude. And one more popular explanation is it was due to climate change. so, so that's what I'm saying. We have so much of relevance to Harappan civilization. Ki, and another explanation is they have over exploited the rural base. Right? They were depending on the rural population, and the population explosion happened so much so that the rural population could not support the urban population because of this over exploitation of urban and rural connect, where there was a clear connection in the previous time. Now that connection got disconnected and the civilization became extinct. This is another theory. Okay, these are all theories. So archaeological evidence does not give direct access. Okay, it doesn't give any direct access as such. Sorry. To the possible social and political dimensions of decline of Harappan civilization. So there are no dimensions or any records with regard to Harappan civilization getting declined. While there definitely seems to be some kind of gradual decline, and this decline has led to de-urbanization, right? This is from evidences of post-Harappan sites which were formed after mature Harappan phase. Okay. What you have to understand is there was deurbanization, and once there were deurbanization, the matured Harappan phase was all about the urban sites. Once there was deurbanization, the sites were moving towards more rural areas. In the later Harappan phases, which we will see in the map also, the sites are moving towards the rural areas. Next, continuity. Okay, so when you write the decline, just conclude saying that this is this particular statement definitely seems to be gradual decline in the civilization which led to deurbanization, and this deurbanization reflects in the post Harappan sites. Okay, when you get a question on decline of Harappan theory, this should be your conclusion. No other conclusion. Don't give say that river course changed or flood came, Aryan invaded. All these are possible theories, agreed. But there seems to be a deurbanization which was happening, and this deurbanization was clearly reflected in post-Harappan phase. Continuity of Harappa. In the class itself, we have seen so many continuities with regard to Harappan phase. Harappans knew the art of double cropping. Okay, they knew the art of double cropping. So that's how they could develop surplus. Okay, they had the connection of trade between urban and rural areas. They had some overlaps with PGW. What is this PGW? Iron Age. Painted grey ware pottery, that is the Iron Age. OCP is ochre colored pottery, that is your Chalcolithic age. They had these connections with these people. And then the last point is very important, as I told you. This suggests that the late Harappan phase, that is the phase after the matured Harappan phase, there was a drift towards eastward and a drift towards southward due to the climatic changes or other pressures in the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. Since there were pressure on that part of the subcontinent, they moved towards the central India, eastern India, as well as the Deccan area. From this, the confusion of Dravidians, who are proclaimed to be the successors of Harappans, this theory started. Right? It's a very controversial theory. This Dravidian and Aryan theory has been discussed, debated for many years, hundreds of years, at least tens of years from last century, and unfortunately it created a lot of rupture in Indian society, because Dravidians feel that they are the, you can understand why Harappan civilization is important, because Dravidians say that we are the Harappans. When Harappans came to the south, they became Dravidians. And when Aryans came from the Central Asia to northwestern part of India, they obviously had pastoralism and they had superior economy compared to Harappans. So when Harappans in the later phase, when they lost their basic, skill set and they came to South India, this is one theory, only theory. Okay, so seems like Dravidians say that we are the continuity version of the Harappans, and the Aryans came and settled in the northern part of India. So unnecessarily this created lot of panic and divide in India. And then the Aryan migration theory, and then and luckily what happened in the last decade is the human genome project, which says that the 99.9% of human genes are same. Out of the 3 billion pairs, only 3 million pairs of your DNA are different, be it African. And from there we have started rejecting various theories, right? We rejected the racial classification. We rejected the racial discrimination also, right? So these are the important sites. Okay, some important sites, like you can see again. I'll tell you in the next slide. These are some important sites like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Dolavira, Lothal, Rojdi, Suktagan Door, Kalibangan, Roper, Rakigari. Okay, this slide is important. My suggestion for you people for prelims, mains, as well as anthro is remember the names of sites in red. That is the thumb rule. Red are the major settlement areas. Minor settlements, okay, minor settlements, they can be hundreds or thousands of sites. We don't care. If you see last before year, there was a direct question on Harappan site. Which of the following is not a Harappan site? Many people thought it is Desalpur, but Desalpur is a prominent major settlement of Harappa. So if you know these major settlements, if three options are having the major settlements, you can immediately eliminate the fourth and circle it. At least remember all the sites which are in red. Hardly some 10 or 15 sites are there. Okay. And most of them are prominent. You must be knowing already 5 to 6 of them. So you need to know only 5 or 6 more. Kodiji, Mehragar, Suktagandor, Desalpur, Lothal, Somnath, Ahar, Alamgirpur, Roper, Rakigari, Kalibangan. We know most of them, right? So these are late Harappan sites. Now see the difference. This is mature Harappan sites. Okay. I want you to concentrate here. These are the mature Harappan sites. Okay. These are the late Harappan sites. Shweta, are you able to understand the difference? What we were speaking in the slide? You can see the drift of these sites towards the eastern side and southern side. Right? You can see. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So these are more in the matured phase, and in the later phase they have come towards the Deccan area. You can see the Daimabad here. You can see Bhagwanpura. They are coming towards east and south. So that means the urban cities declined. That is a major observation here. So some important sites and the archaeological findings in those sites. It's very important because you may get a 10 marker. What is Mohenjo-daro? What is Harappa? Okay. Apart from the basic details of Harappa, you mention that these are found in these particular sites. Or for a 20 marker question, you can write one of the site as a case study. Okay. As always, so it will fetch you some good marks there. So Mohenjo-daro, present day Pakistan, Great Bath, Granary, evidence of great flood is there, which actually resulted in the disappearance of this society, this city. Bronze statues are found, Citadel and Lower Town. Okay, all these aspects we have discussed already. Please remember, we discussed Great Bath, Granary, seals and pottery, bronze statues, Citadel and Lower Town. We have all discussed this. But what are the features in one particular site which are found? We are discussing them. Okay. Just trying to list them out. In Harappa, largest number of seals found at any site is in only Harappa. Bronze statues, first site to be excavated, yes. Granary and Great Bath were present, Citadel and Lower Town. Kalibangan in Rajasthan, evidence of fire altars, crisscross furrowings for ploughing, Citadel and Lower Town. Lothal in Gujarat, presence of dockyard, which reflects the flourishing of sea route. Seals of other civilization are found, evidences of rice husk. Okay. Lothal is famous for its dockyard. So probably it must have been a trading post like Shortugai. Right? And then Surkotada, evidences of horse bones. This can be a prelims question. In which of the site the horse bones are found? Surkotada. Precious stones like lapis lazulis are found. Dholavira in Gujarat. We have seen that middle town is there in Dholavira. Irrigation system is there. Evidences of a stadium and a water tank. Rakigari at present is one of the biggest sites because of lot of mounds being found and presence of bronze tools and carnelian beads. Banavali is a late Harappan site and a post Harappan site. It then transformed into PGW site, that is the Iron Age site. There are a lot of seals and Bronze Age tools which are found at Banavali. So the last point about the contribution of Harappan age to Indian culture. There was a 15 marker question last before here asking for the continuity and contribution of Harappan age to Indian culture. We have seen the continuity. Now this is the contribution. What is the contribution? Fire altars. Yes, even today we use the fire altars. Shiva or Mahayogi worship, the phallus worship which we do even today. The present day design of towns and cities. Yes, the drainage system, the rectangular pattern of the houses, the 90-degree junctions. All this we have discussed. The technique of making bronze statues excelled by Chola Empire. Yes or no? It was the first urbanization of Indian subcontinent. The euphoria and the proud moment for us. It's the first urbanization. And last but not the least, it has given lot of continuity with regard to trade and cultural ties. Right? Lot of continuity with regard to trade and cultural ties. So any doubts here? So we agreed that we have done Harappans extensively, or did we miss something which you read and I did not cover? Anything which we missed regarding Harappa? Probably we missed their party culture, if at all, if you have read it somewhere. So I think we have covered almost everything about Harappans, more than what Harappans knew about themselves. So please revise this slide for prelims also. It is the part of art and culture, obviously. So it's 12:10, 12:15 again we'll come back. 12:30 we are closing the class. Okay. It's a very long class. I can understand you all woke up at 9. At least you two girls have woke up at 9 o'clock. No, much more earlier.
I
Okay.
wake up at 3 and I sleep by 9, so I wake up at 3.
What about you, Shweta?
8 o'clock.
Okay, nice. So fine. Take a 5 minute break. Just and 12:15 we'll meet. 12:30 by 12:15 to 12:30 we'll discuss the linguistic classification and the racial classification. I'll scan that particular 4 or 5 pages in Nadi Masnan and send it as a part of material. I'll just discuss them in the class, okay, because I did not make any slide as such for it. I'll send the material to you, but we'll discuss. And maybe after 1 week or so, when we have some time, we'll take half an hour doubt session class. So that all the things which we have covered, we can just discuss there. Okay. I just will take 5 minutes break and come back. Hello. So any doubts with regard to Harappan culture or Harappan civilization? Okay. 1 minute. Yeah, just 10 minutes more. We will do this racial classification and linguistic classification. Okay, very important as well as straightforward things. A lot of names to be remembered. So the best way is to by heart. That's all. So no shortcut for it. No analytical this thing. I'll just type it here because if I dictate it, it will be more. So first we'll do the racial classification. Okay, this is the racial classification. Racial classification is by two people. One is the Risley, another is by B.S. Guha. Very important. Both of them. Both the classifications are very important. One is Risley, one is Guha. Okay. So what is important is, if you see, India is a land of a lot of racial intermixture. Yes or no? Because we have been Aryans have come to India from Central Asia. Okay, later after the Mauryan age, you have this Indo-Greeks, Kushans, right? All these people coming at around 300 BC to first century AD, right? There are a lot of intermixture, and then later you have the Turks invading India during the medieval age. Yes, so there are a lot of racial categorizations in India. So two prominent people. One is Risley, who was a civil servant. So our ancestor. So who was a civil servant in British India, and he gave a scientific basis of racial classification in year 1890. Okay. In the year 1890, he has given some classification of various races, and he started research from 1890, and finally in his book, in the book called The Peoples of India in 1915. So you can say in 1915, it's a book called Peoples of India. Peoples of India. In this book, he has given various racial classification. The first one is Turco-Iranian. Okay, Turco-Iranian. The second one is Indo-Aryan. The third one is Scytho-Dravidian. Very easy names to remember, Gayatri. Okay, Scytho-Dravidian. Then Aryo-Dravidian. I'll just tell you a technique how to.
Why did you say that, sir? Very easy names to.
I mean, I'm just saying because they when you look at the first time they look very peculiar. I'll just tell you how to remember them, how I remembered them actually. Okay. Right. So these are the 7 categorizations which Risley tried to make: Turco-Iranian, Indo-Aryan, Scytho-Dravidian, Aryo-Dravidian, Mongolo-Dravidian, Mongoloid, and Dravidian. So remember 3 important terminologies here: Dravidian, Aryan. There are 2 things, right? So if you see the most of them, and the Mongoloid. Remember Dravidian, Aryan, and Mongoloid. If you see, all the remaining are combinations of them. Okay, Turco-Iranian. Okay, you can write Turco-Iranian or in the modern day Afghanistan. Okay, the people in the modern day Afghanistan are referred to as Turco-Iranian people. The people in modern day Punjab, okay, are referred to as a race called Indo-Aryan people. Okay, and then Mongoloid are people in the northeastern India. Northeastern India. Dravidians are in your southern India, right? Southern India. Mongolo Dravidians are in Bengal, Orissa. Aryo Dravidians are in UP, MP, and Scytho Dravidians are in your Maharashtra. Okay. By heart it for 3 or 4 times. Okay, I'm sure you will be able to remember them. If you see the combination, if you see Dravidian, if you take Dravidian, you have 4 combinations of Dravidian out of 7. Aryo Dravidian, Scytho Dravidian, Dravidian, Mongolo Dravidian. Done. Mongoloid 5. Indo-Aryan 6. All you need to remember is Turco-Iranian. First you take Turco-Iranian. You have Dravidian. You have 4 combinations of Dravidian. Dravidian, Mongolo-Dravidian, Aryo-Dravidian, Scytho-Dravidian. 1 plus 4, 5 are done. Indo-Aryan, easily you can remember Indo-Aryan, 6. And then the 7th one is your Mongoloid. Okay. And then what are the drawbacks of this proposal? Drawbacks of this classification. So this is a standard format for even answer writing. You say that Risley is our ancestor, the foremost civil servant of British India. So he gave this classification in a book called Peoples of India. after the census was conducted in 1911. He published a book in 1915 called Peoples of India. In there, he gave 7 classifications of race. So, what are the drawbacks? What could be the drawbacks? One is
Strict
arbitrary.
strict demarcation is not possible.
Yeah, arbitrary. That's what I'm saying. Arbitrary means it's very arbitrary division of races. Okay. Another thing, no
Lo-
scientific basis. Yes, no proper scientific basis. And then very important, no mention of Negrito race. Negrito race is a prominent race in Indian race. Okay, there is no mention of Negrito race. Okay, this is with regard to Raisley's classification. Any doubts in Raisley classification? Very standard. Only thing is you need to remember a lot here. Okay. Just when you think that Raisley, okay, I'll try and remember. Then comes Mr. B.S. Guha. Okay, he'll come with much more divisions. So probably sir knew that this is a very monotonous topic and he threw it on me on a lighter note. So it's like, yeah. So B.S. Guha also tried to classify various races by studying them. All these people did some kind of scientific measurements, like you in physical anthropology you learn that Heath and Carter method. So they use something similar, like they did anthropometric measurements, how high is this fellow and all. They came with that kind of studies and concluded these racial classifications, but they are not scientific. The criteria is not scientific. Okay. So he tried to do something on scientific basis. Okay. He used anthropometric techniques. This particular word also I'll send it to you, Word document. Used anthropometric techniques. Mr. B.S. Guha has used anthropometric techniques. It is, as on date, it is accepted. It is accepted by most of the archaeologists as decent, decent categorization of Indian races. The first one is Negrito. Negrito, Proto-Australoid, and then Mongoloid. Right? The 3 major divisions are Negrito, Proto-Australoid, and Mongoloid. So, and also there are some other things. Sorry, in Mongoloid, you again Mongoloid is further divided into Paleo Mongoloid. This is further divided into long-headed and broad-headed. And the second division is Tibeto-Mongoloid. So Mongoloid is again divided into